Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Andrew Yang, and we're specifically going to talk about the Meghan Markle situation, her reshaping of royalty, and the most important reason why that emerging situation is so critically important to American politics and specifically to Andrew Yang. All right, a few things to talk about before we jump into that. So right now, currently, there perhaps is a debate on Tuesday. Who knows, right? So there's a whole bunch of ambiguity on the debate on Tuesday. So the first question is there going to be a debate on Tuesday? We don't know, right? There's been a bunch of squawk on if the debate will even happen because it could be preempted by the impeachment trial, by an impeachment trial. But that's a big question because it doesn't seem that Nancy Pelosi has sent the articles. There's still a huge amount of questions. So one of the things that's really interesting is as we've gotten closer to this most recent debate, there's just a gigantic number of questions around this debate. There's less clarity around this debate than ever before. And one of the biggest questions right now, I think a lot of people are like, is Andrew Yang going to be in this debate? And that question has really gotten, at this point, pushed to the side to is this debate even going to happen, right? So I think one of the things that is really interesting is we've had 6 debates. Those debates were kind of set into cement. We knew what was going to happen with those debates and things were moving forward. But what really we're seeing right now with debate number 7 is that the entire ground that the debates stand on, it doesn't matter what candidate you are, it's not solid for any of the candidates. And the reason why is, and boy, Nancy Pelosi knew this to begin with. Nancy Pelosi fought like the Dickens to make sure that she did not move forward on impeachment. She did it for like a year and a half, and it turns out she was 100% right. Impeachment is turning out to be an absolute stark raving nightmare for the Dems. It is turning into an absolute crap fest. Like it is horrible. It is shaking the ground they stand on, and doing an impeachment trial, doing impeachment literally while you're trying to run an election makes it look to the American people like you don't know what you're doing. And frankly, with the DNC, that's becoming a bigger question every single day. Do the leaders of the Democrat National Committee, do the leaders of the Democrat Party know what they're doing? And it really looks like this impeachment thing is the Democrats just driving their political vehicle into a brick wall. And you can see pieces falling off already. It's just a mess. And so one of the casualties of the impeachment right now are surety for the debate. So while I'd love to address the issue of if Andrew Yang qualified for this debate or not, it seems like a complete non-question because we don't even know if the debate is going to happen on Tuesday because impeachment has shaken the ground so hard for the entire Democrat Party. Truly incredible, truly incredible. So let's talk about important stuff, right? Rather than the thorough mess that the DNC has led the entire party into by walking directly into Trump's trap of impeachment. It's unbelievable we're here, right? But this is where we're at. So let's talk about something that has scale and something that has real grip, right? So one of the reasons why, so I understand a lot of people are not super down with talking about British royals, right? Well, I think this is absolutely incredibly important for Andrew Yang to really dial in on and nail to the wall, getting right the response to this Meghan Markle reshaping of royalty. This is absolutely critical. And the reason why is that Tiara and T Rose voter block, right? In 2016, right, there were 138 million people who voted, but the potential voter base was 250 million people, right? I believe that the Tiara and T Rose voter block is 125 million people, right? So if you understand what is happening with Meghan Markle, a transition of royal power from Britain to America, and you handle that transition right, right? You have the opportunity to show yourself as a true leader. What do true leaders do? True leaders understand, true leaders have a vision, and that vision is attached to scale, right? So vision is saying, I see the future forged by the past, and I'm going to head us into a direction that will allow us to scale, right? And royalty really is about scale. Look at Britain, right? They had an empire, right? Now, they scaled it incorrectly. They used the wrong tools and the wrong methods to scale their power, to gain new territories. They used the wrong methods. They employed royalty incorrectly, right? So it's really important to understand that, right? But I want to talk today about what's happening with Meghan Markle's announcement, with Harry and Meghan's announcement that they are stepping back. They are stepping back from, specifically from Meghan Markle, and that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are stepping back from being senior members of the royal family, and that they will be splitting their time between the UK and North America. Absolutely massive, globally important announcement. So what is the real catalyst in this? What matters most in this, right? So Harry's minorly important in there. Meghan is massively important. She's the first American princess, right? And Prince Archie, we talked about his importance yesterday. But the real importance in all this, the reason why this is so, why it involves American vision and American scale, is Princess Diana. Yeah, is Princess Diana. The reason why Princess Diana is so important is she was an international icon. Okay, so some of you will remember this and some of you won't. Okay, so I was born in 1970, and I remember this incredibly well. Right, so I was 21 when Princess Diana married Prince Charles. That was a happy day, and that was day one. And there was rejoicing, and it was a global event, and people saw it on television, and it was carried globally as an event, right? Day two was problem day, right? And from 1981 to 1996, you saw essentially the first social. Princess Diana had she is one of the most famous people to ever live on the planet, right? It's hard to explain the scale of her life and how public she lived. So we live in a time of the ubiquitous camera, but it's hard to even explain to you how massive the overall impact of what was happening with her was, right? So people watched this 15 years of sadness that was her life, right? So she married Charles. That thing seemed to go south on day two, right? It seemed like Prince Charles really didn't like her, and that it just did not go well. They had Prince William and they had Prince Harry as children, but and in 1996 they divorced, and in 1997 Princess Diana was dead. Okay? What's that got to do with America? A ton, right? America absolutely loved Princess Diana. We watched her from 1981 to 1996. We had 15 years of life with her. And I think most Americans, because she didn't fit into the British mold and the British people, and the Queen, the British people, and the British press really treated her so almost as a Cinderella type, and we were sitting over what's wrong with Princess Di? Why does the Queen, the British people, and the British media seem to dislike this woman? And we absolutely loved her. And when I say that, all right, here's what you got to understand, right? In America, people put plates on their walls surrounded in gold with her face on it, right? I remember this. I remember seeing in multiple houses I would walk into, Princess Diana's face, before she died, would be on a wall, on a plate, with a gold edge. And not like fake gold, like real gold, right? She was a macro superstar, right? And in America, we loved her, right? And when she died, holy cows, it's cemented, right? But when she died, something really special happened, right? Elton John came along and he sang Candle in the Wind. Candle in the Wind became the number one selling song in the history of the world, right? There's only one song that even comes close, and there's a few people in the world that say that Bing Crosby's White Christmas outsold Candle in the Wind, but there's no proof of it. Because when Bing Crosby's song maybe sold a couple copies, there were no records, right? So everybody that claims that Bing Crosby's song outsold Candle in the Wind, it's just speculation because there was literally no proof. There's no records, right? So when it comes to records and actual like record, like data, Elton John's Candle in the Wind is the number one selling song in the history of Earth, right? And so that's what I'm saying. Like the scale of Princess Diana is massive, massive, connected to 125 million American votes. Whatever 2020 U.S. presidential primary candidate understands what's happening with Meghan Markle right now, understands how this connects to the future of America, understands how this is a power transfer of British royalty straight to American royalty, the establishment of American royalty, there's a possibility of 125 million votes for over, understands this, cements it, and moves on it. And Andrew Yang can do that. He has the ability, the smarts, the charisma, the tact, the ability to move on this, to move on an issue that nobody else can see, right? And I can tell you right now, I think a lot of people don't see the scale or the epicness or the awesomeness of what's happening with Meghan Markle right now. A lot of times, huge moves happen and nobody sees it. Dick Cheney, perfect example. Kingmaker, right? Mitch McConnell, Kingmaker. Like these people, they move and nobody sees what they're doing until way too late, right? And then they write books. And what I'm saying is I'm talking about this now, right? There'll be people writing books about this 5 years from now. I'm talking about it now. Pay attention now, right? This is important. All right. So why is Candle in the Wind important? Well, it has to do with American princesses and British princesses. So Princess Diana was a British princess that American people considered an American princess. And you think I'm wrong, think about Candle in the Wind. You know what Candle in the Wind was actually written for? It was written for Marilyn Monroe, right? Who was an American princess before you could call an American princess an American princess. Meghan Markle is the first literal American princess. Marilyn Monroe was a figurative princess back in the 60s, right? Essentially, Princess Di was an American princess we adopted in the 80s and the 90s, right? Socially. She wasn't literally an American princess, but in her heart, she was an American princess, right? And that song, it's why it resonated so strong, because it was acknowledging Princess Diana as an American princess. It was literally echoing, we consider Princess Diana the way we consider Marilyn Monroe. Like, she's a part of our culture, right? And now Meghan Markle is coming along. And here's the kicker. This is why Prince Archie is worth 125 million votes. Prince Archie is Princess Diana's grandson, right? Get it? The number one song in the world. The number one song that sold more than any other song on earth. That is about Prince Archie's grandmother, right? Like, Prince Archie is Princess Diana's grandson. And if you think this isn't important, take a look at the Oscars. You know what's about to happen in the Oscars? They're going to talk about whether a movie that is about the man who sang the song Candle in the Wind, the number one selling song in the world, should be the number one movie of the year, right? Politics is everywhere, and entertainment is twined together like a braid. This stuff is connected. And Andrew Yang is smart enough, charismatic enough, capable enough to take these votes. Whereas all those other candidates, they don't even see it. They don't even see it, right? This is the whole ball of wax right now. This is the moving gears that 125 million votes can be connected to. The Tiara and T Rose voting block is massive, absolutely massive. And those votes are there for the plucking, right? So how does this happen, right? How do we get there? All right, get this. Meghan Markle is not a UK citizen. She is truly an American citizen, right? And there was talk about her getting UK citizen before. You could bet that ain't going to happen now, right? Which means Prince Archie really does have the possibility of being the first American king, right? Now, I hear you're like, Scott, did you say an American king? What on earth would an American king rule over? Pay attention, right? We are right now building the technology for American realms. Where? Where an American king could rule, right? Where? I can tell you 3 places. Oceanic realms. The ocean is filled with vast areas, unclaimed, where you could put an entire realm where an American king could rule. Extraterrestrial. The moon. Mars. Right? Gigantic space stations in orbit. These are places where an American king can rule. And the last is virtual. Right now, we have millions of young men and young women who are living more of their lives in virtual spaces than in meat space. Right? This is a place where an American king can rule. Prince Archie is important. He is an American king, right? And the reason why I feel so strongly about this is an echo from history. There is a vast history of Britain putting something a little bit cool, on the board, and then America really catapulting that thing into stratospheric awesomeness, right? Do you remember the Beatles? Do you remember the Stones? Do you remember the Who? Do you remember Tolkien? Do you remember Gaiman? These artists, yeah, they scrolled down a few notes and gave it to the English. That didn't mean anything. It hit the global stage when Americans co-signed their work, right? America takes your cool little note and turns it into a global phenomenon. And that is what we are looking at right now. We have a word from Harry. We have a message from Meghan, right? Carried by every global news source. We have a coup from Prince Archie that reverberates from Los Angeles to London. We have a spectral keen from Princess Diana that echoes from 1997 to 3997. All of them are saying the same thing. They're saying that British royalty was a seed that showed the barest sketch of what could be accomplished with royalty, but that American royalty will be a mighty oak, and the base of that tree very well may be American King Archie. Andrew Yang is the only candidate with enough vision, intelligence, charisma, and courage to realize the most important international event that's happening right now. And I think he can steal 125 million votes by crafting his response correctly to this event. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.